Hey everyone, Chang here and welcome to my channel. Now today we're going to talk about this problem right here. You did not see incorrectly. This is an addition problem. Now before you exit out of the video, hear me out. Okay, yes, it's an addition problem. Yes, some of us are really good at it, right? We are experts at it. But this is what I want to talk about in relation to addition. When I was little, in kindergarten, and then started learning addition and so on and so forth, every time we had an addition problem, I always learned to add it from right to left. What do I mean by that? Well, we start off all the way at the end. We're going to add all these numbers together. Then we get a number, and whatever is left over, we sort of bring it over here and then continue. And then, of course, 3 digits, 4 digits, on and on. That's what we do, right? And then we get our final answer, and that's our answer, and that's great. That's wonderful. But here's the thing, though. I feel like as I got older, and as, of course, we don't really do this kind of additions regularly, but when we do, it's always in a scenario where we need to do it very quickly. We don't need to know exactly the precise answer. So what I found out is that actually adding from left to right is so much more beneficial in the long run. So I really hoped or really wish that at least for future generations should always just learn to add from left to right. Now, here's the thing though. There is a lot of arguments on why you want to do it, right? One of the main one is the fact that we read numbers, from left to right. We say 43. We don't say, 3 and then 40. That helps us process math a little quicker. So that's the caveat. It helps you process math a little quicker. The other thing is that if you're in a crunch for time, usually with lists like this where you're adding and subtracting, that incorporates, I would say, most of the time checking your receipts. When you're buying products or you're paying your bill at a restaurant, you don't want to see if you're overcharged or undercharged. Just have a ballpark estimate on how much you're going to be paying, right? So you want to do estimate more than specific, very accurate addition. So let's look at this. Instead of adding from left to right, or right to left actually, I want to add from left to right. So I'm going to look at this, and the best thing I can think of is just to combine as much as possible and get an estimate. At least very quickly, we know roughly what the answer is going to be like. So let's look at this. This is 10, this is what, 16 plus another 8, that's 24, that's 34. So this one's probably about 340. Of course, it's not going to be exactly 340 because guess what? We have these guys right here. But afterwards, if we say it's about 340, we can look at this really quickly. What is that? That's 10, that's 20, 25. So there we go. It's 340 and 25. So that's 365. And of course, we can do this very quickly. But notice this, that even if I didn't have time to check this part, right, where I was combining, even though I did it fairly quickly, let's say I did it. At least I know it should be roughly 340. If all of a sudden the answer turns out to be 1,000 something, 2,000 something, I know I made some form of error in adding, right? So this method, I wish everyone knows, or at least can see, will allow you to estimate a lot quicker and actually probably help you add a lot quicker. So let's try another problem. All right, so let's look at the second problem right here very quickly. See if you guys can estimate it. Got it? Cool. We want to break out that mentality from right to left, left to right, right? That's how we can go about it. Well, first and foremost, 10, 20, what is that? 223, so that's 230, about. So initial estimate, it's about 230, ignoring these guys right there. Of course, these guys will change, and if you have more time, then of course you can be more accurate about it. But at least with our initial estimate, it's about 230. Well, from here, look, what do we have? That's going to be 9, 9, 9, that's what? 27 plus 11, that's what? 38. So if we add 230 plus 38, of course we have 268. And just like that, right? Or I don't know why I put a plus sign. I mean, it's positive, right? But it's going to be 268. And just like that, we added all of these guys together extremely quickly. Now, lastly, we have our final boss challenge, right? Now, this is probably something more along the lines of what you see in a normal receipt, right? If you wanted to check very quickly, roughly how much it's going to cost, very simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 50 probably. Right? Now, it's never going to be 50 because you have all these numbers that you have to check. But at least when you look at your receipt, and if it's 100 something, 200 something, then they're overcharging you on something. A lot of things. You better check. Right? Well, now, if we have extra time and we can glimpse really quickly, well, we can start combining things, right? That's 10, that's 20, and then what is that? That's 18, that's 38, plus another 8, that's 46, right? So that's going to be 46. Well, if that's the case, then it's actually about 96 now, right? 46 plus 50, so that's about 90. 96, and then afterwards we can add the cents too, which is going to be fairly simple. What is that? 50, that's $1, so that's going to be $97. So the final answer for this is 97. But notice this, at every stage, right, I can already have a general estimate. If I have more time, it gets more and more accurate. Whereas if I started off and I just added this, for example, going down, okay, I know that's 0 and 1's going to be right there. At the first stage, I know absolutely nothing about what the potential total is. I just know that's a 0 and then 1 is going to be right there. Then I go in, that's going to be 1, 5, and then 2 more, and that's going to be 0 and then 1 right there, right? And then we go on, and then notice that the only time we know roughly what this is going to cost is at the end. Whereas if you're adding from left to right, all of a sudden you immediately have general estimate as it gets more and more accurate. All right, so there you have it, a very short video, but something that I really wanted to point out. It's just something that I learned after the fact, and I kind of wish that I learned it in the beginning. It took me a while to actually break out of that habit, because immediately when we look at a problem like this, whatever we're first taught, right? Whatever we're comfortable with so many years of practice, we jump on that instinctively, right? I instinctively want to go from right and then go down one at a time. But most of the time that's not necessary, and that actually might hinder or make my calculation a lot slower. So hopefully you guys can see this. I would recommend just practicing. It's so easy to go online, look up a list of addition problem, and if you want to build up your skill in just being very quick with adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, go through something like this. And very quickly, start off with estimate, right? And notice that I didn't really mention it. That's just my strategy. Of course, other people have different ways of combining numbers. I combine it trying to form groups of 10, so it's very easy for me to see, and then whatever happens, happens. So notice that at least in the second row, when I was adding this, I immediately jumped to 6 and 4 because I knew that formed a group of 10, and the 2, 5 right here formed a group of 10. And this one's easy because I just chose 9 and 9. That gives me 18, and whatever's left over is 8, and then I started adding that way. So each and every one of you guys will have your own strategy, but I do recommend and I suggest, yeah, try practicing, try working, break out of the habit, add from left to right. In the long run, it will help you get very good at estimating problems like this. And guess what? You'll be less likely to be cheated when you're either paying for something or in a bill in a restaurant. So thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.